Let's get into the position groups for the Houston Texans, and let's start with that scary secondary. Everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of The Lead. Your host, as always, Harley Dugan. The Houston Texans had a hell of an offseason, as we all know. And it all started with the firing of Lovie Smith and the hiring of DeMeco Ryans. Immediately pressed the reset button on this franchise, as we all hope to see that DeMeco Ryans and what he can be as a head coach becomes to fruition for Texans fans. But the biggest thing from DeMeco Ryans was we all knew that players were going to gravitate towards him. And we all knew that we were going to get players from the San Francisco 49ers. And the biggest one was Jimmie Ward coming over to the Houston Texans. We all saw last year's secondary, and it was headlined with Derek Stingley being the rookie. You had a Desmond King. You signed Steven Nelson, who had a fantastic year for you. Tavierre Thomas, Tremon Smith, fantastic in special teams. Definitely going to miss Tremon Smith, but not as much as I think. The Houston Texans now fast forward into this year. You have a Derek Stingley going into his second year. We're hoping for a healthy year from him. And I do believe that Derek Stingley, hot take. I do believe Derek Stingley is going to propel himself into top 15 corner. Actually, no, hot take. Top 10 corner status. I really do believe in the lower 10, okay, in the lower like 8, 9, 10 area, okay. I do believe Derek Stingley is going to propel himself this sophomore year, and I think he is going to lead this secondary. Even though Jimmie Ward is the captain of this secondary, is the defensive leader of that secondary, along with a Jalen Petrie, who we all saw last year. As long as we're not getting 147 tackles, I don't mind it, but I don't want to see that again, because that means the run defense is putrid. I need Jalen Petrie to cut the tackles away and do what he did best. As we saw several times, it just seemed like he was always around the ball. He's always around the guy, and either it's a big hit, the interceptions, whatever it is, Jalen Petrie makes plays for you. Someone that I am certain to have another big year for the Houston Texans. Pairing him with Jimmie Ward. Now you got Desmond King still in the slot corner position. No problem with that whatsoever. You still have Tavierre Thomas. I thought that was a good re-signing. He played phenomenal for you 2 years ago as a slot corner. Going to be a backup, good depth piece. You still have Steven Nelson. And Steven Nelson was a surprising acquisition for you last year in terms of his play. I did not expect that to happen. The Texans with Derek Stingley, Steven Nelson, Desmond King, you got Tavierre Thomas, the two safeties, Jalen Petrie and Jimmie Ward. You added a safety in the draft in Brandon Hill, who I see as a really good special teams guy. So that helps the role of a possible Tremon Smith. Brandon Hill had the fastest 40 of all safeties. That's why I see him in a special teams role and possibly compete for that backup role to MJ Stewart. The Houston Texans secondary looks really scary. A very quiet secondary that can shock some teams. And they had a successful year last year passing the ball against them. This year I expect bigger things, especially with Jimmie Ward being the newest addition. This Texans secondary can showcase themselves, flex themselves as the strength of this defense. They were last year, but this year, with that addition of Jimmie Ward, I really do believe that Texans secondary can definitely be top 15 for the NFL. As always, guys, go Astros, go Rockets, go Texans. You have a blessed day.